What is up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com. And today I have something really special for you. It's a really long story, but I'm not going to tell the story. The short of it is just that I have acquired a space remover in C++ for inclusion in your automator sequences so that you can create permutations on URL guesses very, very quickly. So, so here's the pastebin file. I'm going to put it below my video in the description. This is for UTF-8 and ANSI, and I'm also going to send you guys a there's going to be a second link for UTF-16 LE bomb, which is Unicode. So depending on what you use, I'll give you two different versions. The ideal one is UTF-8 because it's more common. It's a less random artifact and glitch-prone encoding format, and it's also half the size of the Unicode variation. So, recommended to use this. Now, here's the reason why. In one of my new servers, I I was having problems in my automator sequence with when it came to the batch program that I had written by someone to remove spaces line to line. There was a couple. There was really the biggest problem with the batch version. Batch basically uses like a command prompt type of uh, executable uh, to do things, and the batch version was super slow. I mean, if the file was really big, it could take hours for that to process. And a lot of the times I just activate the automator, come back the next day, and it was really fine. But I had problems where it came to this part in the automator sequence where basically, the program tries to permutate all my URLs at the root level with contact page guesses. And the problem is Scrapebox doesn't have a way to remove spaces from URLs to my knowledge. Like, I guess no, you can't find and replace data with Scrapebox. You can only let's go take a quick look just in case, but I'm pretty sure you can only remove URLs based on criteria. You can't actually find remove URLs, but you can't actually find data inside. I don't think you can find. There's not a find and replace utility inside of Scrapebox to my knowledge. Let's see here. Harvester, remove URLs, trim to root, randomize, clear, transfer, import, export, compare, filter, grab, lookup, indexer. If there is a text editor, let's see. Do follow to, I don't think it's any of these. Yeah. I just had to make sure, but you can do filtering. You can remove content based on criteria. You can permutate content. You can collect information, but you can't go into the content and find and replace, which would be a great feature suggestion, but it's not there. So, and we don't want to stop the automated process because that would be more tedious. So, what I did in the past is I had the batch executable go in and remove those spaces in the data line by line, and then save it as updated permutations contact keyword export. Of course, again, problem is took forever and recently didn't work. After many hours of working on this, I later on found out that the reason it probably didn't work, and I haven't tested it, but I believe that it probably didn't work because under options there's a default export. Sorry, there's a default export file format setting, which by default is Unicode, and that's UTF-16 LE bomb. And that's, like I said, twice the size. There are downsides to that encoding with artifacts at times. So UTF-8 is much better. And the problem is I recently set up this new server, and I guess I just forgot to change the encoding to UTF-8. So that caused me a lot of problems. But at the end of the road, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because I went to go get someone to make me an executable in Python. They suggested C++ as because it's the fastest, programming language, I guess. And then that didn't work out. I hired someone for like $36, and which is ridiculous. Really overpaid for just, hey, remove spaces line by line. But I had to like cancel it because there was this glitch we kept running into. The file that I was using was encoded in UTF-16, and he didn't realize it, and I didn't realize it. So the outputs were just constantly they were like dashes and Chinese characters. It was really weird. And so we had to cancel that. And after that, I went and I didn't hire somebody. I went to the libera.chat IRC channel for C++. If you guys don't know about this, this is like a hidden gem. I've talked about this in previous videos for getting regex help, but that also led me to thinking, hey, I bet if you can get regex help, you can get other programming language help. And so in the Hex chat client, you can go to server, you can go to channel list, and you can type anything in here as a simple search like C++ and do a search, and it just populates stuff in the Libera chat node or server, whatever it's called. And you can sort by users. So I just joined the most populated C++ group and asked for help. And at first, like, some of the guys were insulting and inflammatory and kind of, aggressive, saying I was an idiot for trying to pay for something as simple as that. But I kept my cool, and I just kind of humored that, and I got them to build me a script for free. So there was a couple of guys who were a lot more helpful, and one guy in particular really helped bring it home. And he did this one here for UTF and ANSI, and then he also did this UTF-16 LA bomb. Before we discovered when we discovered this issue, and then I discovered later, I was like, oh my gosh, I can change the default encoding in the client, and I totally forgot about that. So we have two versions now, the UTF-16 and the UTF-8 version. And so before, it used to take with a really big URL sample, it could take hours for that thing to process. No joke. This little command prompt batch thing would come up here and blink for hours. It took a really long time. But now with C++, check out this sample. This is a sample of dental URLs at the root that I did a month ago, and I permutated them with contact page guesses. And you can see that it's 428,000 URLs. So almost 500,000 URLs. Watch how long it takes when I double click this space remover executable for C++. That's it. Just a few seconds. Oh man, I'm just so tickled. I'm just so tickled by that. It's going to make a huge difference for those of you using automator sequences to do this kind of guessing to expand your email samples. Like, this would literally multiply your capability of running multiple scrapes in a short period of time. Like, I don't know exactly how many it would, but I mean, multiply. So one server now has, with this little script for C++, is now substantially more powerful. And so you can grab this. I'm gonna, in my website under buy, there's a section for Scrapebox resources. So if you don't want to compile this to an executable using the pastebin file, then you're welcome to come here and I'm charge a small amount for, I charge like $57 or some larger amount for the automator file in total that includes the script. It will include both scripts now. I'll add both of them in there, and instructions for the C++ one. But I will also add the C++ version for a small fee for those who just don't want to go looking, or who don't want to compile this themselves. But basically, if you want to pay nothing, you can take my pastebin link below this video, and you can compile this using something like Visual Studio. All you have to do is download Visual Studio. Here, let me show you this, guys. Visual Studio. Studio. If you're on, this is only if you're on Windows. If you're on Mac, I can't help you. You need to find some sort of IDE or whatever, some sort of code editor that can compile C++. You need to find something that can compile C++ to an executable, basically. Anyways, when you go to download Visual Studio, just go download Visual Studio, Community 2019, go through that process. I think it'll have you reboot your computer. And then you open it up, basically, do a new project, and it'll open up to something like this right here. It'll automatically populate these sections. You right-click on Source Files, go to Add, and I've named mine main.cpp because that's what someone recommended. Pretty much, you put the source code inside a .cpp file, which is what you see here. You just paste it in from Pastebin, right? And then you just come up to well, first of all, you want to change this to release, and then change this to 64. That way it's for 64-bit operating system. And then you go to build, and you go to build space remover. And if you need to make changes, you can go rebuild space remover. Like if you want to change the name of the file, it's right here. If you want to change the name of the updated version of the file, it's right here. If you need to make other code changes, then obviously you probably know what to do. But that's really it. Once it builds, it just puts out this simple executable, and it's self-containing. It operates with in conjunction with the files in the folder that it resides in. So you just have to have a folder with the right name, and it'll put out an updated version, or a text file with the right name. It'll put out an updated version of that file. And then you just come into your Automator and make sure you change the instructions on the section that says, hey, run external program. You just change it to point to this file. So it's really simple. Like, and this thing that has been created it's a beast. I just showed it to you in real time. It just takes a few seconds for that thing to compile hundreds of thousands of URLs. It's pretty awesome. So I'm really tickled by it and excited by it. But that's pretty much it. Oh, and before I forget, you can't run the script without what is it called? Visual Studio C++ Redistributable 2019. It's not this, like if you download Visual Studio Community Edition, you'll already have it on your computer. But if you want your executable to be able to run on your Windows server, you have to go here to latest supported Visual C++ downloads, and I'll link to this. And you have to download this right here, VC Redistribution 64-bit. And this is 2015, 17, and 19 Visual Studio Redistributable C++, some kind of package, okay? It basically allows you to run C++ executables from your desktop, okay? So you download this from Windows, install that, and then you can run that executable, which it's a little bit more than, probably certainly Batch, probably Python. I don't know. Like, I understand the code in Python is much simpler, and they were also saying the code in PowerShell was really simple, but I don't know how the speed compares between Python and PowerShell and C++. I'm assuming C++ is, because from what I understand, it's the fastest. I can tell you Batch was just way too slow. I didn't even realize that I was basically pulling a cart with square wheels, pretty much, and now I'm in, a sports car or something like that. Or no, now I'm in like a stealth jet or something. I don't know. It's crazy how much faster it is. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. If you want to compile this yourself, you can. I just showed you how with Visual Studio, and the code I'll give you for free on Pastebin. Then make sure you install that Visual Studio thing for your operating system. 86, by the way, that's 32-bit operating system. Most people have 64, of course. And if you don't want to go through all that and get it for free, I'll make sure to put some versions of all that in my Scrapebox resources section for a small, reasonable price. And for those who are interested, check out libera.chat. Grab yourself an IRC client like HexaChat and get plugged into some of these programming communities and other communities for people who are doing things, because you can get help for free that is obviously has monetary value. So you don't have to, go through hiring process and, all these pretenders out there in these marketplaces. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.